Daniel Chaniott has lived in Nashville off and on for 6 years since college. He likes to convince himself that he's outdoorsy, but he probably honestly only goes outside to offset the incessant amount of movies he watches. I understand that. Daniel's stepping away from television tonight to tell us a story. He is a 10x9 first-timer. Let's please welcome Daniel to the 10x9 stage.
Thanks. Thank you. So my parents came tonight. They've never heard this story. And I'm honestly not sure what my mom's statute of limitations are. So if I lock up, it's because I've made eye contact. To preface my story of what I missed, I have to give a little bit of back history between my siblings, or at least my brother. I'm one of 4 kids. My 2 youngest sisters, Darla and Dean, aren't in this story, so they don't really matter. But I'm 3 years younger than my older brother, David. And growing up, we all 4 fought a lot, but me and David especially so, to the point that we have friends who've known us basically our whole lives who have said that there was a few years that it was actually uncomfortable and not fun to be around us because of how violent it got. And I've matured. I've gotten to the point that I realize it's not fun for everyone if there's a chance that somebody's going to end up bleeding at the end of the day. I've come to terms with that. So to give a little bit of example of being smaller than my brother, I had to think fast on my feet and learn how to retaliate without making the situation worse for myself. And one year, my brother was home for Thanksgiving. We went out to cut down a Christmas tree. We're in the back of the van, me and him and the rest of our family. And I thought it'd be funny just to tell him some of the things that I'd done when we were kids. I looked over at him like, David, do you ever remember doing a chore, knowing you did it, and then getting in trouble because you didn't? It was glorious, just watching the flood of realization and rage wash over him. He put together all these instances from when we were a kid and realized that he was upset that he hadn't put it together before. So I didn't even have to tell him, but of course I did. I rubbed it in his face. Yeah, when Mom had you vacuuming the family room, I'd go back, put some of the crap back on the floor, kick dirt out of the potted plants, just enough to make it look like you did a poor job. When he was unloading the dishwasher, I would walk through the room, make note of dishes in the dishwasher, come back later, get them out of the cabinet, put them exactly where they were in the dishwasher. And I'm pretty certain that my 3 siblings have eaten 90% of all the beans that my mom ever put on my plate when I was a kid. So, growing up, we always had a lot of woods. And when I was 12, we moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Tennessee. And we lived there for several years, and we had 5 acres, but we had a couple hundred acres of woods behind us. And these woods were really awesome. They had really cool gorge, lots of creeks, and things to play in. Well, the last summer that we were there, they started subdividing it. And so what they were doing is coming in and building roads and sewers, which made it even cooler to go and explore in these woods. And the construction crew would be back here for a couple days, and then they were doing a weird thing when they weren't actually back there for like a handful of days, which gave us plenty of time to explore. But when they were back there, they were doing blasting. And we know this because we would hear it, and then we were also finding the remains. So we were finding the cords and the blasting caps that they were using to detonate their dynamite. And we found the directions and a box that had contained the dynamite. We quickly took it upon ourselves, me and my brother, that we were going to find a stick of dynamite and detonate it ourselves. And we weren't having good luck that summer. We had found a tube TV back there, and we had told that if you mess with that, it would blow up. And that was a lie because we didn't get it to blow up. So we were pretty determined, and we were being extremely safe. Like I said, we had the directions and the box that they came in. I was 12, David was 15, and so we were good. David even checked a book out from the library on how to handle explosives. And don't worry, the whole chapter on how to make pipe bombs had already been ripped out, so David's definitely on a list somewhere. So this is what we would do. We would go back here, play in the new sewers that they were laying on the roads and things like this. It was just flat. All the trees had been cut down for most of this. And so it was awesome. But we weren't finding explosives, and I was getting bored with it. So one day I carried my bow and arrow back there with me. And it wasn't a serious bow. The tension wasn't great. but I kept my arrows sharp, and it could stick into a tree if I shot it right. So you might know where this is going, so I'll just go ahead and ask. Has anyone here ever shot an arrow straight into the air? Fine. I was 12, judge me all you want, I did just that. So we're out here on this level area where it was going to be a road, and I was bored. So I leaned back, and I shot it. And I watch it go, and I watch it, it makes its arch, and then I'm like, awesome, sweet, I'm not going to have to run. And it's coming down, and then I see my brother right there. He's like 80 feet away from me. And I think, should I yell? That's not going to him, that's not going to him, and whack! My brother looks up, because he's now over here in the dirt, digging for explosives like a responsible 15-year-old. And he looks over, and my arrow is sticking straight out of the ground about this far away from him. I had missed my brother by maybe 18 inches at the most. And my heart's in my throat, I'm really nervous. I was just like, oh, this isn't good, I almost killed my brother. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. We were over a mile away from the house. Getting medical attention out to him would have been horrible. I'd seen a lot of movies, but I don't know what I would have had to do. I didn't have a shovel. My mom inevitably would have started asking questions after a few days. I'm just happy I missed him, that I didn't hit him. Then he pulls the arrow out of the ground, and then I realize he's coming at me, and I might have put myself in a situation where it was either going to be me or him, and he had the pointing end of my weapon now. So he comes up, knocks me to the ground, takes my bow, and is booking it for the house, my mom, and of course my ultimate doom. And I'm shaking, I'm trailing behind him, and I'm pleading and bargaining and just begging him. He's not having any of it. And it's, David, please, you love playing with the bow and arrow just as much as I do. Mom's gonna throw it away, she'll probably throw her guns away. This isn't good, she's not having it. He's like, look how far this went in the ground. It went in 2.5 inches, it would've killed me, blah, 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 blah. He was in a mood. I hate getting in trouble. So I'm like, David, the time you shot me with a BB gun, the time you shot bottle rockets at me, why is this any different? He's not having it. And I don't know why it was. But we get to our yard. We're in the grass. We're going to be 30 seconds away from being inside the house. I realize I might have one card to play, and it's low. It's really, really, really low. My brother, several weeks before, had confided in me in some point of brotherly trust for some odd reason. And this day, I was absolutely ready to abuse that said trust. And I know how cold it was. I get in front of him. David, if you tell Mom that I almost killed you today with my bow and arrow, I'm going to tell her that when you spent the night at your friend's house from church a couple weeks ago, you looked at a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. It took me months to find where he hid my bow. But with that, I will go be grounded now for something I did 16 years ago.
His brother David has actually told 2 stories with us at 10 by 9, so some of you may remember him. Nobody mentioned Sports Illustrated when he returns. That'll be our little secret. Is he here tonight?
No, he's working.
We're good. We're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break, and we'll be back with 5 more stories. Just a reminder.